Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews, and today we have got an interesting treat for you. We're going to take a look back. I know a lot of you have already seen it, but Book of Boba Fett and the Obi Wan series. Dave just finally got caught up on it, and we decided we'd chat a little bit about it. Not a movie, not old, but as Star Wars fans, we can't let this slide. I'm just going to say that. So,
slide.
so you watched Dancing with Sand People. I'm sorry, Book of Boba Fett.
Yes,
What did you think?
yes. I watched Dancing with Book of Boba Fett. Real quick, I took like really quick notes on each episode, just like one note that really stuck out. Should have been better. It started out pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the criticism of it being from Boba Fett, and all of a sudden people saying, okay, they were really weak. They realized their weakness. It became the Mandalorian show at around episode 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I think 4 or 5.
It turned into the Mandalorian out right at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Episode 5, it turned into the Mandalorian.
And
There was no Mandalorian in episode 5 at all. 6, he shows up in about 2 seconds. But with that said, I didn't hate it. I just think when they introduced Boba Fett in the Mandalorian series, he was badass. I mean, the only thing he had was that gaffy stick, and he killed like 7 freaking guys, and then he finally got a blaster and started shooting them. And when he got the blaster and decided, well, I'll use the blaster, it's easier, he just took out everybody. That was the Boba Fett that I wanted to see. How did you feel when you first saw it? Was you like, oh my God, why is he not killing everybody in the room?
Exactly. And this is what I'm noticing. I'm noticing a theme with the Star Wars shows as of late. We've got a lot of broken people. We can take it all the way to The Last Jedi. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. With Luke being so fucking broken because he failed Ben.
Well,
and then now we have a broken Boba Fett because he just damn near didn't make it out of the pit. And and then when we talk about Obi Wan, we have another broken Jedi. And it's like, you know what, I'm getting really fucking tired of these weak ass broken people.
Right.
And I did expect when I started watching this to see a little more action, and it's a shame. I felt the person who had more action was it Finnick, Ming-Na Wen's character.
All the shit she was doing, Boba Fett should have been doing.
Yeah, and she's badass in it, and I will not take anything away from that character. That was great.
No, I love Ming-Na Wen, and I think it was a good idea to have her as his partner / bodyguard /
They have good chemistry.
They have really good chemistry. But for her, again, I'm going to say it, demasculizing the men. That's what this was for me. I'm sitting there looking at Boba Fett, waiting for him to do Boba Fett shit, and instead, Ming-Na is going out and doing it all. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. I mean, I get it. She's an assassin. She's a trained assassin. I don't know if she's supposed to be human or what. I don't know what her species is. I'm assuming it's human. She's at least humanoid.
Yeah.
But Boba Fett just, like you said, he seemed broken. And I get it. He was broken. But for 7 years, he's been out of that pit because it takes time in The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is set 7 years after Jedi. So he's been out of that pit for a long time. He's been living his life and doing his thing. How I think they should have done this, my personal opinion is they should have showed him getting out of the pit and taking him up to him getting his armor and taking out everybody in town that would be standing against him. And then how you end the series is him walking into Boba Fett's castle and killing Bib Fortuna. That's how they should have ended the series.
Yeah, that happened way too soon, him taking over the...
Yeah, after he's taken everybody out is when he should have went in and killed Bib Fortuna. That should have been his goal. That would have ended that series much better for me. And it would have been Boba Fett being badass.
Now, things I liked, I love seeing the Hutts.
Yeah, the 2 Hutts.
I love seeing those.
You know they were weird.
And I will watch anything if Danny Trejo shows up on screen. So I liked that. I like seeing him bringing the Rancor.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. Fucking Danny Trejo. Can't go wrong.
but that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I think there's some good stuff, but here's
Yeah.
the thing that I was most disappointed with. I really loved the series when Baby Yoda and Mandalorian showed up, and it's like, okay, it tells me I would rather watch The Mandalorian than I would Boba Fett.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, and you're gonna hate me for saying it.
I won't hate you.
Well, you won't hate me, but you hate me for saying it. Get rid of Baby Yoda already. It's time for Baby Yoda to go.
You shut your whore mouth. Right now, that's fighting words right there, David. We ain't getting rid of no Baby Yoda.
I think that story is done and over. They need to step up. They need to have him take and go into the next level of being the whatever character he's going to develop.
Yeah.
Because he went forward. He gets the Baby Yoda back, so all that shit in the last episode of Mandalorian means nothing. None of that meant shit.
I think what happened is they ran up against the wall. If Grogu had stayed to train under Luke, it would have erased so much shit. I would have been happy.
I'd have been fine with it.
Yeah,
and you know what? Any true fan would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
He was already his first trainee. He was already.
Are we going there? Are we doing that? It's like, no, yeah. So no.
They should have. What the hell is with Luke screwing up the damn teaching again? Because it worked so well the first time. You can only choose one. It's an attachment. Yeah, it's an attachment. Give the kid the freaking armor so he's got a little bit of protection, man.
This is emotional manipulation from the Jedi again. I find it borderline, if not outright abuse. Yeah. I was appalled that they took this. Yes, he may be 50, but he's still a child to me, you know.
I have a theory about that too, but go ahead.
But made it where you have to choose between one or the other. And he really loved the Mandalorian. They have a connection. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't ever make anybody choose. I thought it was a shit move, and fuck Luke for that. That's all I'm going to say about that.
So, yeah, exactly. I agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. There's zero reason for him not to let Grogu have the armor and still train him.
Exactly.
And you know what? I don't know. Maybe Mandalorian can come by once a month and say hi to the kid.
And you know, it wouldn't hurt.
No reason not to let him.
It wouldn't hurt the Jedi to form connections and love instead of all this isolationist bullshit of, you know, one of the things after we decided to watch all the Star Wars stuff made me realize I don't like the Jedi. I am not a fan of the Jedi. I think they're a bunch of assholes with their hokey religions and shit, you know, because they're not good. They think they are. They're trying to do good. But fuck, man.
Well, in the books, Luke Skywalker winds up getting married to Mara Jade and they have kids.
That's awesome.
See, because Luke realizes that the connections that they were going, oh, these are all bad. And I want to say the spirit of Obi Wan was like, you know, maybe we were wrong. You know, maybe we need more. If I remember correctly, I read it in one of the books. But that's when Luke and Mara Jade finally get together. They start dating and being, which is weird because she was an assassin for the Emperor trying to kill him through like 3 books. But that's a whole other story. And it's a good story. If you get a chance to read it, folks, read it. But they did away with all that. And I'm like, well, Luke would have seen this and known all this. So he would have realized I need connections. I need my friends. I need family.
It makes you stronger.
It makes you stronger.
Hold on. What is it? Family? Why do I hear Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto from Fast and Furious? It's all about family, bro, and family. So I'm just saying, but, if Vin Diesel gets it, the Jedi should get it.
I just think that they missed a point. They missed a really good mark to just leave Baby Yoda being trained there, let him have the armor, and it should have been Ahsoka that looked over at Luke and went, "That's a bad decision."
I know. I was waiting for it.
That is a bad decision, Master Luke, and I hope it's one you don't live to regret.
I will say I do believe Rosario Dawson is so well cast as that role. You could see that she was conflicted in her face. She didn't have to say anything, but I have a feeling she was thinking that.
I think so too.
You know,
But let me for Book of Boba Fett, because I do want to keep this short for anybody who wants to watch this and go, what does this asshole think of this? Episode 1 started out good enough. Maybe again, I'll say it, needed more violence, needed more Boba Fett being bad. Bad
Sure.
Boba Fett.
Absolutely.
Episode 2, Dances with Sand People. It wasn't. It wasn't a complete waste of time because it does build his character, and
I like the scene around the fire with 2 socks. I'm just saying. Oh, wrong movie. I get them confused. So
the Power Ranger Vespas. I hated it. I will change my mind later on, but I'll tell you why I changed my mind about these Vespas and the Power Ranger Vespas in a moment. The sound or the special effects for the Vespas wasn't good. It just wasn't good.
No, it wasn't. It's a shame.
It looked like something I could put together with about 4 or 5 months worth of training on my computer, and it wouldn't be good. But at least I would have a reason.
There's a few spots in here that the CGI really fails. Yeah. It's like, damn.
Now, by episode 4, and this is me writing a note, I watched episode 6, and I went back and wrote a couple of notes for 4 and 5 and 6. It had just dawned on me on episode 6 what the mods represent. They're not just talking about the modifications to their body. It's the mods from the 60s. They all drove around on little Vespas, and they had these nice little tight jackets. And if you look at how they were dressed, they were all dressed like a Star Wars version of the mods would have been dressed back in the 60s.
That's actually pretty smart.
That is actually funny. That's cool. A funny joke. I get it now.
That's cool. Yeah, because they didn't bother me at first. The CGI was a little off-putting because I'm expecting to find weird shit. This is a Star Wars universe. We're going to see all kinds of shit, So it's okay. Yeah.
But when it dawned on me, I appreciated the Vespas and the mods a lot more. So I was good with that. Episode 5, I already said it. No Boba Fett. Pretty good Mandalorian episode, though. Pretty good Mandalorian.
It's a really good Mandalorian episode.
Episode 6. Oh, hey, no Boba Fett again. Until the very end when he just shakes his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what we're going to do. Episode 7, I got nothing. While I didn't hate it, it should have been better. The Rancor writing, really? Rancor writing? I know he said it and they set this whole scene up. He should have just released the Rancor and let it attack.
Release the Rancor!
That's my personal
look at your shirt. Release the Kraken.
Yeah, exactly. Release the Kraken. Release the Rancor. The Marshal's not going to like what he's doing to him. That's all I'm going to say. He's not going to appreciate it. He's not going to appreciate it. And how is the Marshal almost dead from a shot in the shoulder? He shot him in the shoulder.
Yeah. I know nothing of nothing of the extended lore, but I thought Cad Bane was really cool.
Cad Bane is evidently, I think he's part of the animated universe. He is a bounty hunter. I think he helped train Boba Fett, but I want to say that I read books where Bosk, the Trandoshan, actually trained him too. So he gets a lot of really badass training. And what is with the Trandoshans? Why are they 4 foot tall now?
I don't know.
They're supposed to be 8 foot tall lizard guys. They were not imposing.
So do you recommend watching Boba Fett?
Yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan,
you should watch it.
Even with all my little complaints and gripes, I understand why people hated it. I really do understand why people hated Book of Boba Fett. He needs to be, if they're going to do another episode or another series, he needs to be a lot more violent, and he needs to be a lot more old Boba Fett. Talk less, shoot more, get Ming Na to go kick ass with him. Yeah. And the next episode or the next series, he needs to just be like, gloves are off, kids. I see what you're going to do when I tried to be nice. Now I'm taking over the fucking galaxy.
Yeah, it was just, it was a little,
the business.
It was slow. It was, I wanted to see more from the badass assassin.
Yeah.
bounty hunter, and just
Yeah.
really didn't get it. So I too, I enjoyed watching it.
Right.
I love seeing these slices of the universe and to get in some little story. I think it's cool to revisit,
Mhm.
and get some stuff. I like staying in the universe, and
Yeah.
not everything hits. Not everything hits. Some works,
Uh,
some doesn't, and it's good to see. I think we got very spoiled with how solid the Mandalorian was, and then
yeah.
where our expectations are high. Speaking of high expectations, I myself had really high expectations for Obi Wan.
Right.
I was disappointed, but I did enjoy it. So
I had low expectations. I was not disappointed in my low expectations. um, but it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was. Again, they emasculated or emasculated another man because men and Kennedy can't have a man be around evidently.
yeah,
She said it would. That's
you and I mean, I understand what you're saying. I
oh,
absolutely do get it. I just I can't get behind that. That's purposeful. But
uh,
if
if
I can
it's
be
not,
convinced, I'll believe it.
if it is not all done on purpose, that woman needs a psychiatrist. That's all I'm saying. Because there's some deep rooted man hating going on there
Okay,
in
all
her
right,
head. That's my opinion.
sure.
With that said, I will tell you one thing that you could have basically kept the exact same story. One thing could have been different.
What's that?
Have this all happen within 6 to 8 months after episode 3 of the prequels.
Absolutely,
That would have been that close together.
it would
You
have
could
made more sense.
have still had the bad actress playing Reva, playing a bad, whatever the hell she was supposed to be, poorly. But she could have just been an older Padawan that turned to the dark side. An older Padawan that wanted revenge, and it still all would have made sense. Matter of fact, I think it would have made better sense because she wouldn't have been killing people for 12 years or 10 years, however many years she's been around. She wouldn't have been just slaughtering people to get to Obi or to get to Darth Vader.
That's the problem I have with that character. Is I understand her drive. She wanted to
Right.
kill Vader, but it seemed so odd that she was so hell bent on
Mm-hmm.
Obi Wan, and she would have probably even killed Leia. And it's like, bitch,
Yeah.
you're psychotic. You're not even likable. I cannot get behind you at all.
That was a big
And that's a
problem with the
problem.
character.
I don't, here's the thing. I can go back and we can watch Anakin's story arc.
Right.
And I can have empathy for Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Along the way, you see the things that happen. They tried that with Reva, but they didn't build her character enough to make it to
Right.
where I actually cared.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was poorly handled. There's a lot of stuff. You watched the 2.5 hour edit. How
Right.
did that come out?
Better because it was less.
Killed a lot of fluff.
Killed a lot of fluff. It killed a whole lot of filler. Got rid of a whole lot of filler.
Took out about 6 hours.
Rearranged a couple of scenes that in the series didn't make sense, but when they're rearranged in the movie, you're like, oh, I get it. That makes much better sense.
Interesting.
Like when the one Jedi that they go to get now. If you haven't seen it, folks, I'm going to spoil it right now. There's a Jedi that the hunters.
Obi Wan lives.
Yeah, Obi Wan lives. He makes
Leia
it.
lives.
Darth Vader doesn't though, which is really weird. They really fuck things up. But I think they ruined their whole timeline.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to fix that.
but that's stupid. But
Well,
what are those guys called? The hunters, the Jedi hunters? I forgot what the hell they're called.
God damn, the Inquisition?
The
Inquisitors.
The Inquisitors.
Yeah. Nobody expects the Sith Inquisition.
That's exactly what I was halfway waiting for that bartender to say. Are you surprised we're here? Well, nobody expects the Inquisitors. I would have died. That would have been perfect. That would have been freaking
It would have
perfect.
been.
But anyway, they're hunting a Jedi. They find a Jedi. He escapes. He runs off to the jungle, or the desert. He meets up with
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan. I get my shows mixed up. He meets up with Obi-Wan riding a horse. with no name through the middle of the desert. And Obi-Wan says, I'll give you a piece of advice, put your lightsaber down, go back to the city, live until you die. Well, that scene makes no sense in the series because that's what happens in the series. You're like, you just told this guy to put down his one weapon and go back to the city where
they're hunting him.
Already found him and are going to kill him if he goes back. And he takes the advice. Well, in the movie edit, all you see is the guy run away from the Inquisitors.
That makes more sense.
And so when he meets up with Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan has no idea anything else. He's just saying, look, because the guy in the series tells him all the whole story. But in the edit, he doesn't. He just says, you're Obi-Wan. He's like, I'm not Obi-Wan. I'm so-and-so. And
I'm Ben.
I'll give you some advice. Ben. He gives him the same advice. Just put your lightsaber down and go live a life. In the series, I want to say when Ben Kenobi comes back in town, the guy's strung up on this parapet type of thing, and he's got his head. But you can see that it's the same Jedi. Well, in the movie, I don't know how the guy did it, but it was cool. He removes the guy's head.
Oh, damn.
The guy's got no head, and he's hanging there. And you're like, oh, shit, that's pretty badass. They're setting an example. There was a warning. So I thought that actually worked pretty well. They took out the scene where Reva's threatening Uncle Ben, which that scene never worked for me anyway.
Right.
There was a lot with Reva that they were trying to build up in the series that didn't work. They were trying to make her a lot tougher than she was, and I'm sorry, I know a lot of people are going to hate me. They should have got a much better actress to play this part. This girl did not have the chops to play it. I don't know what else she's been in. I don't know if she's really good at whatever else she did. This character needed somebody with a stoic presence, somebody that was.
Well, don't you think that could have been just the writing? I mean,
it was definitely the writing.
I disagree with her acting. I disagree with the fact that she was bad. I don't think she was bad. I think she did what she could with what she had. Because I've seen a hell of a lot worse. And a lot of it is honestly, I've heard so many quote fanboys just blast her for no fucking reason without even ever seeing it. And I have pretty much turned off everything to it. So. If that's your opinion, that's awesome. I just disagree. But I think the writing for her is horrible.
And this is one of the reasons why, talking to you, I decided to watch it, because I was saying what I had heard, and then you and I talked, and I was like, you know what? I need to make up my own mind.
Absolutely.
So I took all the criticisms that I heard of both these shows, and I pushed them aside. And I'll tell you what, I didn't hate these shows as much as so many
as you thought you were going to.
They did.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan, I liked a little bit. It should have been better. And like I said, the one thing that would have fixed it is if they would have had all this happen within 6 to 8 months. Because you could have had those guys go in and kidnap Bail Organa's daughter at 8 months old.
Let's talk about Bail Organa and how he was actually a double agent for the Empire.
He's got to be a double agent for the Empire because nobody's that stupid by accident.
Bail Organa. Who's that stupid? Bail Organa.
Whatever you do, don't call me unless it's an emergency. And I mean like the entire planet's being destroyed by a Death Star kind of thing. Don't call me. Hey, my kid's missing. Could you go find me? I'm on the other side of the galaxy, for Christ's sakes. I have another Jedi to watch. No, I really need you to go watch. You have to find this kid. You have an entire army on your planet. Go find her on your own. No, I need you to find it. The one guy that I need to keep hidden.
I need you to find her because she was abducted by the Red Hot Chili Peppers at their show last night.
Why Flea? Why Flea? I like Flea enough. But why
he was fine for that. I mean, it was.
Why?
I know. It was like, wait, is that? I'm watching this. It's like, is that fucking Flea? That looks like Flea.
Yeah, again, like you said, he's a good enough character actor. He was good enough for this.
He did fine.
But why him?
Yeah.
Well, and you want to know why you don't pick Flea for this role?
Because he's recognizable.
Because of exactly what we're doing right now.
Yes, that's
exactly what we're doing right now.
It's not about his ability.
No, definitely not
who he
about
is.
Just you see him and you're like, Flea? Really?
Yeah.
Back to the Future 3, when he shows up, you're like, Flea, that's pretty funny. Yeah, that's cool. I can see that. This, no, you're like, Flea? Really?
Yeah.
Flea. You got Flea to be a bounty hunter. Okay. I want to know in the series. I'm going to go back to the series real quick. Read my quick notes.
Yeah, go for it.
Then we'll talk a little bit more about the movie, the differences that I found. Why, in the very beginning, would Obi Wan Kenobi have memories of Anakin Skywalker? He's literally has his memories. He's not just memories of Anakin, but there's a couple of scenes where Anakin is in a fighter pod doing something that Obi-Wan should not have, he wasn't around, you didn't see it, and you see Anakin in the fighter pod, and I'm like, why does he have that memory? Why is that into his head?
I think you may be digging too deep. I think it was just a flash. Yes, I get what you're saying. I really do. I see that it's a memory. It's like, why would Obi-Wan have that? But as a watcher, just disregarding all of that, I get a great flashback and see, a moment in time. That's all I think.
But for me, that made me stop. That literally made me stop and think. And I wasn't looking for anything that early on. I was like, it's going to be at least 10 minutes. And no, there it is.
No, there it is right off the
bat. we're 45 seconds into this scene. But that was just one little thing. Is Obi-Wan also Santa Claus? When he goes and drops the present off by the door for Luke, the little model.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I
know that was a little thing.
I didn't think that Owen would be like that. I think you would want to have a Jedi Master close by and be a part of Luke's life, because knowing what's going to come instead of making him sheltered. I think people make that mistake sometimes, and I don't know. Maybe.
But I think Owen would have been just like that, basing it on Star Wars, the first movie, when he says, maybe it's old Ben, and he says, that old man's just a crazy wizard.
That makes sense. That makes sense. You're absolutely right. Based on, and I'm going to get this out of the way. Here's my biggest problem with the Obi-Wan series is there's no stakes because we know what happens.
Right.
So it's cool to see a little story.
Right.
But it's not good because it's not, oh my God, I'm afraid for him. No, because I know everybody makes it.
Yeah. The one character that I did care about, they killed off. I'll get to her in just a second.
Mm-hmm. I know who you're talking about.
When he gets to the spaceport, he's tracking the one ship that kidnapped Princess Leia. After the phone call, the unprotected phone call from Bail Organa.
This is Bail Organa. Anybody see my daughter?
Yeah, it's like, oh, jeez. He tracks the ship to whatever city planet that they're on, and he walks up to an Imperial agent with his tracking device and says, hey, I tracked the ship here. Could you help me out? And the guy just looks at him like, yeah, well, none of that's going to work in here because of the dampening field, and just turns around and walks away. And I'm like, why one of the most, if not the most wanted man in the galaxy by the Empire at this time walks up to an Imperial agent and says, I'm tracking a spaceship and I can't find it. Bad writing. That is fixed, however, in the series. He does still walk up to the guy, but he cuts out I've been tracking somebody. I think he says, I'm looking for a friend, and he holds up the device. So it's not like I'm I'm doing something super illegal.
Yeah, the Force only gets you so far, like flying the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. How did Obi-Wan, this is bad writing. This is the writer's fault. Again, like you said, bad fucking writing. And it comes to find out the writer didn't know this either. How did Obi-Wan not know that Vader was still alive and that Anakin was Vader? Because in this show, they make it look like he's completely surprised that Darth Vader is Anakin. And I'm like, This man didn't even watch the fucking prequels to do this movie. He did not do minimal research to watch and figure out that Anakin was Vader. The guy was surprised whenever he found that out. So he's like, oh, I'll use it. And then he was even stupider because he didn't realize that Obi-Wan had already known that he was Vader.
I've got to add on this, and this is just going to fuel your conspiracies, and I apologize ahead of time.
No, go ahead.
But I was reading today, one of my favorite video games is Knights of the Old Republic, made by BioWare back a long time ago. It's a great story, 1,000 years in the past, with Darth Revan. It's a really cool fucking story. So recently today I read the game has been canceled or put on indefinite hold. One of the writers, or the writer that they had hired, is a huge fan of The Last Jedi. That's all I'm going to say.
And that's why they fired him?
No.
Or they hired a new guy that was a fan of The
That's who was
Last Jedi.
writing it, and they released the demo for, I guess, the higher-ups in the company or whatever, and they saw what was done, and they canceled the whole fucking thing right there. So, but...
Might not be a bad idea then. It might not be a bad
That's what I'm thinking. But it's like, why? Now, why I brought this up is, why are you hiring writers who haven't looked at the source material of where things come from?
Yep.
And while it's okay if you like The Last Jedi, I just throw that out there as a dig because I hate that fucking movie. There's better Star Wars to pull from. There's better Star Wars to pull from.
Star Wars Empire Jedi.
Yeah, and I wasn't prepared to even talk about this woman, so I do have some of her quotes on Twitter about Star Wars is very cringeworthy, and it's like, this is who you hired?
That's who they hired.
I know, and that's what it's like. So to fuel your conspiracy, I don't get it, dude. I don't get it.
Give me that gasoline and light that match, baby.
Yeah.
We're going to town.
And here's Brian Johnson. Oh, what?
Brian Johnson. Oh, I hate that man. Just for what he did. But that was just such a bad piece of writing. Just so bad that he lives on Tatooine, which is an outskirts planet, granted, but he lives near a spaceport and it works in a spaceport area. He would know what was going on in the galaxy. He would purposely keep his ear to the ground to know what the Empire was doing.
Right.
Anyway, moving on. So Vader's just stopped by a fire. And Leia's kidnapped again?
Well, the fire probably scared him, but it would have been better to throw sand at him. You know, because he hates sand.
I mean, but that's what's funny is like the fire starts and Vader's like, oh no, that's what stops him. That stopped Vader dead in his tracks. And I get it. Okay, you're caught on fire by lava, but that armor, I'm sure is fireproof. I'm sure that was at least the one stipulation you got for wearing that black leather, Gareth. Foreshadowing of Qui-Gon Jinn was kind of cool in the series when they're walking on that one planet and he's got the little girl and Leia with him and he sees the guy in the hood and he kind of turns around towards him and then he disappears. So he's not sure if he actually saw anything or not. That was a nice bit of foreshadowing. Here's where I think they screwed up. The path is equal to the Underground Railroad. That's their series. That's the series that should have taken place after Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
The person that should have been starring in that was the Imperial officer. This is your whole story. That's the Imperial officer helping Jedi get out undercover, being a double agent, and nobody knows whose side she's really on. Now you know because you watched Obi-Wan whose side she's really on. Or do you? Or do you? Because every once in a while she might have to turn somebody in.
That character was great.
Exactly. That was your lead character for the next series. And the next series should have been the path. Her getting Jedi out, her getting people out of the Empire, just saving people while being an Imperial officer. And instead, they killed the only interesting person in the entire goddamn series.
She was well written. She had a ton of depth, well acted. That is probably the best actor on the show, or at least
Yep.
those performances were the best, because she was the most believable. And man, I was sucked right in. I wanted to know more about her right away. That was how you write a good character.
That's what the character of Reva was missing. I didn't care about Reva. They
No,
showed
that's
me
the problem. That's the problem.
That's the little kid. I didn't care about that character.
I know, right?
The interesting character they killed.
Yeah.
Reva, and I will
could have been interesting.
I do think she was a bad actress, but I will give you this: the directing in this didn't look all that great, because you still got Ewan McGregor. It seemed like he was walking through some lines quite a bit. But that's what happens when you have a bad actor. You can have, or a bad director. If you have a good actor who doesn't know what the director wants, that's a problem.
And that's why I am very quick to jump to possible writing or direction, because I know what an actor goes through firsthand, not on a big production like this, but a lot of times you'll have something in your mind on how you're going to do something, what emotion you want to bring, and the director has a completely different idea. And you know what? Your job is to do what that director says and give it, if that's what he wants. And if the director said, hey, I can't think of her name, who played Reva, but if he was directing her to be that way, and he was happy with it, then she did her job. And we could say it's a bad performance, but it's also, I think it's nice to put in the caveat. There's writing, there's all these
the
other
writing
things,
was
like you
bad
said,
for her character too.
Sure. Absolutely, because you know what? I didn't care about her. I didn't care about her.
The writing was bad for the guy with the big round helmet too. The Chinese guy, or I'm not even sure. Was he supposed to be an alien, or?
I don't know. He looked like a lamp. He looked like an old 60s
he had a
TV
big
lamp.
Helmet on. He wasn't interesting.
Hold on.
At all. Yeah, that's him. That's the guy.
It's my 1960s TV lamp.
I like it.
See, but, I thought of that.
the other girl, the other female alien, I don't know what species she was supposed to be. I actually found her more interesting.
Yeah.
Because she was quiet and she looked like she would kill you as soon as look at you. But I think she only had like 2 lines. And I was like, that character is more interesting than the one you're trying to make interesting. And I think they tried too hard with the character.
Yeah, not to shit all over Reva, but they tried to make Reva a more menacing character than she actually was. And that was a problem. And that's the writing, that's the direction, that's the editing.
Right.
That's, and yeah, I guess it could be performance. Sure. But they were happy with it. So obviously she did what they wanted her to do. And that's.
I think the biggest problem that I had, and I don't want to say problem. Well, yeah, problem with Lucasfilms. Before this even came out, they told that actress that if somebody doesn't like you, it's because they're racist. She went with that. And instead of just saying, hey, look, folks, this is how I think Lucasfilm should have handled it. Look, folks, this is whatever the actress' names is. Put her out there, had pictures of her smiling with the rest of the cast and everybody, arms on shoulders, having a good time. If they would have handled it like that and released this, they still would have got bad press for a bad performance and bad writing. And you couldn't have used the whole, if you don't like her, you're sexist, racist asshole. I didn't like the character. I don't think the actress was that good. But like we said, in defense, that was a bad script. That was bad character development in that script. The good character development was with the Imperial officer that was like a double agent. It just was a better character. A better series being lined up. If you wanted a series, that was your series. You're not going to have that series now because you killed off the lady that was going to do it.
That would have been good. That would have been good.
There was one really cool scene. I think this would have made me love Reva a little bit. When Reva's questioning Leia, she's trying to find out where whoever I don't even know who the hell she's looking for at this point because it's such a badly written show. I got confused on who Reva was actually looking for. I don't know who the fuck she was looking for.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's asking Leia, like, where are they? Where are they? And I'm like, who are they? Who is it? I thought she was looking for Ben or Kenobi or whatever. I don't know who she's looking for anymore. So whenever she says, "Where are they?" the little girl should have looked up at her and said, "They're on Dantooine. They're on Dantooine," and looked away. Do you get that joke?
No, I don't.
That's what she tells Darth Vader and Grand Moff Tarkin on the Death Star.
Yes, it is. That would have been great. That would have
That
been
to
fucking
me
great.
would have been her perfect. That's the lie I always tell. That's my go-to line whenever I'm in trouble.
Yeah, that's great.
That would have. I would have. Why would you not have put that in there? How could you? That was when I was watching that conversation. I, honest to God, I thought that was what the little girl was going to say. I was like, "Say it, say it, say it." Well, you didn't say it.
Yeah. I at this point, I'm convinced that Jon Favreau and I can't think of the Filoni
Filoni?
are the only ones who need to be in charge of Star Wars.
They need to they just need to take this away from Kathleen Kennedy and anybody who she hired. And
Yeah, because
I say that because
this had a different director, different writers.
well, the lady. No, I'm sorry. I was going to say the lady directed this from Mandalorian, but it wasn't. It was I don't know
No,
who directed this one.
was it Deborah Chow? Or
I think Deborah Chow
I don't know where.
did Boba Fett, right?
Maybe that I'm not sure. I would have to look it up. But yeah,
But yeah, I was waiting for that, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Um, Tyla, that's the one that I think I like. Vila, that's the one, the Imperial person that gets killed. I liked her. She was a good character. Oh, Obi Wan, Force, open the hangar bay. Why didn't he had? Oh, the hangar bay's closed. The electricals are not working. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, open. I opened with the Force. I'm good.
Yeah.
No, instead, take the little kid, have her go up 2-story ladder into a little hole. How is a 10-year-old an electrical genius? How is a 10-year-old
because of Lola.
Genius?
Because of Lola. Go with it. Lola did it. I'm convinced it was the droid.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll accept that.
It's the Force. It's the Force. I'm sorry. If Rey can fly the Falcon, Leia can do wiring.
I want to talk about bad writing. Only Qui-Gon Jinn and Han Solo die from a lightsaber through the fucking chest or stomach. Yeah. No, they only got stabbed in the stomach, didn't they? They didn't get stabbed through the fucking heart like Reva did. She got stabbed in the gut.
I thought she got it in the gut, man.
No, I saw it and I was like, did she get stabbed in the gut? And I rewound it. No, it's through her freaking heart. And I'm like, how is she still alive? The Force is keeping her alive. The Force.
It's the Force.
Beru really showed that she could be a badass in this series. Yeah. Whenever Reva finally shows back up on Tatooine, and they know she's there. They know she's coming. They hide Luke, and Beru and Owen are they're loaded to bear, man. They're used to fighting Tuskens, and when she comes in, they're just blasting the shit out of her.
And that is one of the biggest problems I have with this series, and I have with Reva herself. This is a character that could have had more depth.
Yeah.
And could have been likable. But I didn't understand why she was going after Luke this way. She wanted Vader. What the fuck are you doing? Enlist Obi-Wan.
I want to know how she figured out that Luke, because it seems like she knows that Luke is Vader's kid. And she's figured out that Leia was Vader's kid, but she lost Leia. But I'm trying to figure out because that the thing he never mentions that Luke and Leia are their children.
No, so but you know what?
That's the only reason she's there.
There's a deleted scene where Bail Organa calls her and tells her that they're related and they're missing. And would you please go find them? Because oops, wrong number. Sorry, reception. Yeah, that's what happened.
You get some paper on the 3D thing. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Yeah. You're just reading that paper. No, I'm not.
Poor Jimmy Smits. God damn it.
Oh, he
made to look like a doofus.
That character deserves better than what he got in this. That's for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
But Beru, at one point, Reva comes walking through the door. She does the force thing with the window, and she's gonna be badass. Beru's got, I think it's a pot, and she just slams her in the fucking head.
Beru wasn't playing.
Knocks that bitch over, and she's about ready to kick her ass, and she uses the force to knock Beru out or something. But I'm like, Beru, yeah, that's a country girl right there. She knew she got the force or not.
Yeah.
But that was a good scene. What is this? Oh, the fight scene. The fight should have been, I said it before, episode 3.
Yeah,
Vader and Kenobi. That this whole thing, all of this should have happened in episode 3 of the prequel. All of it.
I agree.
He should have been in the armor. I've always said he should have been in the armor by episode 3. That's when their last fight should have happened. He should have been armored up. He should have known everything about this fucking guy to this point.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, I think it would have made it much more palatable. It's not bad. It's entertaining. I enjoyed watching it, and I won't watch it again, but I'll watch whatever series comes next.
I have one more little complaint.
Go for it.
Obi Wan Kenobi, all the way on the outskirts of the galaxy, on the outer rim. And they literally call it the outer rim, which means there's nothing out there.
Right.
It's so far out, fucking nobody goes there. He flies all the way back to the inner galaxy to Alderaan to say goodbye to the little girl. He could have mailed that little fucking robot.
Here's the thing. I absolutely.
He was there for 2 fucking minutes.
I know. That was kind of stupid. But I will say this. I absolutely adored the actress that played Leia. I thought she did a phenomenal job. So.
I thought I was going to despise her. The problem is that kid's not 10 years old.
Okay. That's fine.
They should have just knocked down the age. They should have just looked at the kid and went, okay, they're not 10 anymore. They're 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something, because that kid wasn't 10 years old.
No, but she was cute. She had an energy that I would imagine Leia would be, very strong. And I love when they show her, she's going to go meet, she's dressing up to her duties, and she puts a fucking holster on. I thought that was cool. It was and the gloves. It's like, yeah.
With that, I wish there would have been something that she would have been wearing that Leia wore in the Star Wars episode.
Yeah.
Or something that Leia you always saw the character.
So you could have a connection.
So you could have had that connection all the way through, like, oh, that's where she got that. That would have been cool. With that said, the movie, the
edit,
fan edit, 2.5 hours, takes a lot of fluff out. And it reads a lot better. Like I said, the guy moves some scenes around, works so much better. Less of Reva makes her more. Just like Darth Maul.
Absolutely.
You wanted to see Darth Maul a lot more.
Phasma. I want to see more of Phasma.
You want to see more of Phasma. That, I think, was the biggest problem with Reva, is they gave her too much to do and not enough good dialogue. They didn't build her to be a good character. I honestly think they were going to kill her, and then they decided at the last minute to bring her. No, we can't kill her. Well, yeah, you could have. That was a nobody character. I'm sorry. Yeah. As a matter of fact,
you're not wrong.
I think her death at the hands of Darth Vader would have been more poignant, especially if you brought her back as a fucking spirit.
Yeah.
Like as a warning, the last warning to Obi Wan before she went into the void. She could have showed up as a spirit. In full gear, in full Jedi gear. That would have been more poignant.
I did love that when she did face Vader, and he's standing there knowing she's behind him the whole time, and it's like, oh, this is.
He doesn't even pull a sword on her.
No, this is not going to end well.
That's he's DA. He's just so bad.
Yeah. It was good seeing Hayden Christensen. I thought the de-aging was horrible.
Yeah,
it's like bad. You looked way too old. The 40-year-old Padawan.
You still look 40. Are you ever going to graduate? You ever going to graduate from being a Padawan?
As soon as I kill some younglings.
They're going to go kill some younglings, except the little girl. I'll keep her
Hey,
alive.
me and the guys are going to go down. We're going to kill some younglings, throw back a few brewskis. You want to join us? Yeah.
I do have one theory about Baby Yoda, and I think I may have said this to you before. Baby Yoda, when he first appears in The Mandalorian, he's in that bubble.
Mm-hmm.
The bubble is dusty. The bubble's got shit over it. These guys have been guarding this thing. They have no idea what's in it. I think he was in some kind of suspended animation. I think he was just an infant when he was frozen. 50 years went by, was nothing. Or however many years went by.
You might be on something.
Was nothing. Because
he doesn't know anything.
Yeah, when he was just a little baby, when he's being taught, so he knows little baby stuff at that point. That's why he doesn't talk. If he was 50 years old and had aged 50 years, I think he would have been able to talk. He would have been more like a teenager, I think.
Yeah.
Because although the Yoda species ages slowly, they don't age that damn slowly. If they do, they ain't ever getting off the damn planet because the fuckers are never going to build a damn spaceship. But that's always been my theory. Like, because when it opens, you hear the psh, and you see some steam kind of stuff come out, and all of a sudden, like, it's not moving yet until the droid goes to like shoot him, and you hear the blast, and all of a sudden you see a little hand come out. I think he was in suspended animation. I think somebody froze him.
You might be right.
Just to hide him, and they figured if he's frozen, nobody will pick up on the Force in him. Now
that's a good theory.
The mystery is who did it. My theory is R2-D2 did it. I think R2-D2 saved the little kid. He may have saved more than one young one. Because remember, when he's coming off the ship, Vader tells him to stay with the ship. And he goes on in with his troops. You think R2-D2 is going to listen to him?
No, R2 did what he wanted to do.
Yeah. So that's my theory. That's my super fan dopey theory.
There
if
you go.
If anybody wants a different fan theory, let me know. But that's my theory. I think the little baby Yoda is still baby Yoda cute because he's been frozen for 50 years.
Right.
He has no idea what's going on.
All right. Final thoughts on the 2 Star Wars series.
If you were a fan, I liked Boba Fett. Should have been better. I still liked it though. A lot of stuff that just should not have been in it. Like, the Vespas could have not been in it, but I get the joke. Okay.
I do now.
Watch it. It's funny. There are parts of it that are funny. There are parts of it that are good. I enjoyed Tamara's portrayal of Boba Fett. I think he takes his helmet off way too much. That's me. Obi-Wan, if you have your druthers, if you have not watched it yet, watch the director's cut. If
you mean the fan edit?
Yeah, the fan edit, director's cut. Oh, yeah, the fan edit.
It's the
movie fan edit. And compare the two. If you have watched the series, watch it anyway. And compare the two. I think it's a much tighter story, and it makes Reva a little bit more menacing. She's not menacing.
She needs that. I absolutely agree.
She needs 100%. To be menacing. And there's the point when they start talking through the door. That is the most character development that you get. And it works so much better in a shorter version because all of a sudden you're finding out what's going on in this woman's head. You know what I mean? So
I agree. I think it could have been better. My thoughts are on it. While I found them very entertaining, and I do believe they're worth a watch if you're a fan of Star Wars. I'd like seeing these chapters open up and see some little things that are going on, things we may not have seen, new characters show up. So I enjoy it. I think the biggest problem with the Obi Wan series was there's no stakes because we know how it all turns out.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay. Whereas watching Rogue One, we know that Jin's gonna survive, or she's gonna succeed in her. She's gonna get the plans. The mission is gonna succeed. What we don't know is all the death and destruction that's gonna be in between and at the end. And that would, because we never knew these characters. So it's like, it was really cool to see that. But when you see Obi Wan, you know that he is going to make it. You know that Leia is going to make it. You know Luke and Owen and Beru are going to make it, not for long, but they're going to make it. You know,
they're going to make it to the first movie.
Another 10 years, and then they it gets a little hot in the desert, and you know, so that was it. I think it's worth a watch. I don't hate them, don't love it either, but I'm glad I watched them.
Like I said, I think what could have worked for this episode, if they, I've always thought it should have been in episode 3, but if not, make it much closer. It should have been 6 to 8 months out of the prequel episode 3. Yeah. They still could have kidnapped the baby. They still could have had all the shit, and it would have been much more interesting. There, you would have had your Baby Yoda Mandalorian moment, because it would have been a true samurai. It would have been a wolf and cub, because he's got this baby that he has to protect. You know, that to me, I think it just would have worked better.
I agree.
Time-wise and everything, it just would have worked better. But, yeah.
So there you go. Check it out. Check us out. Subscribe, like, hit, send, whatever. You know? Around. Yeah. So thanks again for tuning in to Old Ass Movie Reviews, where you realize that Dave and I are the old asses, and stuff we review really isn't that old sometimes. So stick around, see what's up next. Have a good week.
Thanks, folks. Have a good night.